Hi, and welcome to Wrong Way. And today I'm taking you on a ride on one of the most capable off-road and on-road 1x1 machines in the world. Let me tell you more about it. Wrong Way. Now listen, this video will be more like a podcast style video where I'll be just talking at home to you guys, sharing my thoughts, my opinions, and on the screen you can see me just ripping the streets and off-road on my new addition to my UC collection, the Galway MSP, and just look at that torque. Like next to me I think there's like a pretty fast combustion part car, like a track hog I think, and look, yeah, I'm just gone. Yep, it's gone. Yeah, UC power is just so awesome because acceleration is so damn fun. You're not sitting inside of like a cabin and yeah, you're just leaning forward and it goes, and torque of this thing pretty insane. Yep, now we're just waiting a bit till the cars pass, and yeah, this video is very much in style of like the Chooch Tech videos. I've seen that recently people really been enjoying this sort of content, so yeah, I'm trying to hop on this train as well. And with this wheel I have just so much fun around the city. It's so agile and the torque is really insane. Here I'm taking just like a shortcut which is destined for like pushing bicycles up, and yeah, it's so slippery. If you ever didn't see a drift on the wheel, where here it is. Sadly I'm holding both of the railings here, but yeah, the wheel just slipped out of me. Maybe it's the fault of the tire, but mainly this surface here is just so slippery. I have no idea why cities like take a slippery surface for like pushing bikes up. And going up, yeah, I was a bit scared. I just pushed the wheel up. Anyways, what I wanted to talk about in between those shenanigans here which are going on screen is like what wheel is the best for heavier riders. And you know, there's a big selection of wheels on the market, but like what is the real use case for them, and what are the like small differences in between like a Kingsong, Sherman and so on. And acceleration test, bloop, I'm gone. So I'm riding on the MSP HT here, and this is a very torquey wheel. Its motor is high torque as the name suggests, and for heavier riders you do need a lot of torque. For example, a couple of friends of mine burned motherboards on a veteran Sherman just recently by going very slowly up steep inclines. And here on the left you can see the police, Straż Miejska. You have no idea what's going on. I'm very happy that I'm living in a city which like tolerates this sort of vehicle. Anyways, going back to the Sherman, it just can't go slowly uphill with a heavier rider, and it just burns. There's like no notification. The motherboard just fries very easily, and that's one problem of it. Like, especially if you're a heavier rider, it's better not to like torque the wheel too much. And here I actually did that, and it beeped that it was in medium mode. And there you heard the wheel just being overpowered. I just overlanded. And the heavier you are, the easier it is to do. And yeah, I just changed the mode to hard mode to have just more power. I realized recently when riding a RS, actually a couple months ago, that on medium mode it's easier to overpower the wheel than on hard mode. I'm also using these Clark pads here in this video, which help a lot with, you know, getting more acceleration, more braking. Probably I'm more of a fan of the Sai Pads, but I'm getting used to the Clark pads as well. I really like that it's really easy to jump with them, and obviously it's easier to get this torque out of the wheel. Here I'm going 58, which is where the beep started here on my MSP HT. So anyways, if you're a heavier rider, you will need to have more torque in your wheel, but how do you know? Well, I'm going to tell you. The veteran Sherman has a very high free spin at 104 kilometers an hour, so it's a very speed focused motor. But if you want more torque, then for example the MSP HD, well, currently not being produced anymore, is a great choice. A RS C38, so high torque as well, is a very torquey motor. And the Kingsong 16X, loads of torque. V11 is pretty good as well, and pretty much these wheels are all that I could probably recommend for heavy riders. Maybe also the AWD EX. It has a lot of torque as well because of its like 3.5 kilowatt motor. I wouldn't really recommend the Monster Pro. The Monster Pro has a huge rim, and I think that there's a lot. Oh, doggo, yeah. If you see a doggo, just stand still. If it's not doing anything to you. If it's doing something to you, then just run away. But this one was really cute boy. But the Monster Pro anyways has a huge wheel, and this leads to a lot of not really friction, but not really a efficient ride. You need a smaller wheel to get a more efficient ride. And here, yeah, we're going backwards because this wheel just has so much torque, you can do with it whatever you want. And here, very slowly, this is the biggest struggle for electric motors, going super slowly up the hill. Actually, if you even go a bit faster, then you provide more cooling to the motor. But anyways, the EXN maybe a bit too, because it's torqueier than the Sherman, I guess, or has better cooling. The RS C30, or you know, high torque MSP RS, is a great choice for sure. And the V11, unless you don't overdo it, it'll be fine as well. And of course the Kingsong 16X. And here we're going through sand. This is also very tiring for a electric unicycle. Preferably don't do it too long, because you might just, you know, warm it up a lot, the EUC. And as you can see, I'm just struggling here, man. If you want to go through sand, the most important thing is just to try going straight, don't turn, because yeah, you just might fall. But the Clark pads help a lot of that with that, and also thanks to E-Rides for providing me the Clark pads here for testing. The MSP I bought at my e-wheel. It was a sort of like a wheel that was used there, and I just bought it sort of used. So it never was like on sale on the site or whatever, and they don't sell the MSP anymore. Also, when you're going on sand, yeah, that's not really good for the bearings. Little jump there. But with these older style motors, it's a bit better than with these newer style hollow motor bearings. But still, I think they're getting better with the bearings with each batch of electric unicycles they produce. So yeah, one thing is the cooling and the power of the, you know, the torque of the EUC itself, but a different thing is also how like durable it is for heavier riders. And both veteran Sherman and the older Guads wheels have Shin plates to keep the motor in place. Oh yeah, here just a small bounce. That's where power pads help you do not fall off the wheel. Have these Shin plates, and they get worn off over time, but it's actually not that difficult to change them, especially like the older Galway monsters had it as well. I had it in my MSS before. So yeah, these things get worn off, but they're not that hard to replace. However, in the Kingsong 16X, I believe these Shin plates are like integrated into the L hanger. So after a while, maybe they get worn off. If you just ride a bit more aggressively. And if you're a heavier rider, then you can get that. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess that's what happened to a friend of mine. On the V11, you're pretty safe when it comes to that, because with these newer hollow motors, you have just 4 screws mounting the L hangers to the motor. So with these newer construction of motors, you're safer as a heavier rider, well, unless there's like rain and your bearings go haywire. And here I wanted to go further, but I realized I'm in a swamp. So because I didn't want it to meet Shrek, I just went back. Polish version of Shrek, probably terrifying. Here, whoop, a bit of wheel spin. Anyways, in terms of like the structural rigidity and like how well a wheel is constructed for heavier riders, I think that the veteran Sherman is really good in that area. It also has like thicker L hangers. The hollow motor wheels like the RS C38, the Guads EXN, and the V11, all of these wheels with, and also the Guads or Bigode EX, have these hollow motors with very robust mounting brackets for the L hanger. So I've heard that the Seattle riders like Mike Leahy or Lehigh, I don't know how to pronounce it really correctly, Shippy Time also changed to the RS because of the stronger sort of like axle. It's like almost not like an axle because like a hollow motor has loads of bearing inside. But for this durability, I guess the RS, the V11 and the EX models are pretty good in that regard for heavier riders. Now you can also get like a Monster Pro, but with these wheels I wouldn't just really advise like to torque them to accelerate fast, because this just might overheat these wheels too much and you might get a bit more problems with the shin plates. So mostly these are my like instructions for heavier riders. I guess that's what I wanted to tell you about. So now we can just progress more into the ride here in the city. Taking the MSP both on-road and off-road is like, it's great. Like apart from going on a street where it's just a bit too slow, I think it's pretty amazing. And just to jump like here on a small ledge going onto the Vistula River in Warsaw is like pretty awesome. I don't know even why they built that. It seems to be just like a wall, I guess, to keep the river not to eat like into the river bank, I guess. And there's boink, these quite action-filled holes inside which you need to like jump over on the EUC. Like before I was just going here by foot and just pushing the wheel over, but with the MSP I just feel so good. And please do not try this at home. Like I'm very close to the water. I've tried this ledge many times. I know like how it's shaped and that it's like pretty safe to go there, and it's like not as narrow as it seems in the Insta360 camera. But yeah, it's still a very sweaty, I'd say, ride on this ledge. So now we're going off back to the riverbank, and if you live in a city where you have just a river crossing in through it, which is most cities probably, or just a city close to the ocean, to the sea, there's so many nice routes close to the water. And oftentimes they're also through off-road. There's sometimes not many bicycle paths or just regular paths there, so there's a lovely terrain to enjoy. And I'm like 2 kilometers off the city of Warsaw, like the center, but it's like sand and nature and trails. And the great thing with the UC is that you don't need to go like downhill to have fun. You just, you know, accelerate. You don't need like a mountain bike, downhill trail. Everything just sort of becomes a trail. And even going like through these very small narrow paths, and probably these people weren't expecting just the UC cross from like behind the bushes. Yep, you're going through sand. This is probably one of the most difficult terrains to go through, because maybe apart from mud, you can see how much there's wheel spin, but the wheel still balances itself and goes greatly through there. But yeah, not easy at all. And finally, we're going back onto tarmac, onto just some bicycle paths, newly paved bicycle road here in Warsaw, pretty narrow, and on these paths you have to always watch out, because there might be some unfinished business, like boop, this small I don't know what it's called, like a manhole cover. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Pretty narrow bike path, by the way. I think this is also like a two-way thing, so that's that. Also, I've mounted a small mirror here on my handle, pretty wide angle, so that's what I see. I don't see my crotch. It's not a crotch mirror. when I just brake a little with the ESC, then I can see just everything that is behind me. So yeah, I'm just not having like a mirror there just to look at myself from weird angles. But anyways, going back into the city, finally it's warm. I have my Lazyrolling safety gear, both the pants and the hoodies from Lazyrolling, and they just keep me cool on these warm days. And we just arrived at the Mermaid, and bloop, this is the way, the stop. And if you don't know, at the Mermaid in Warsaw there's always some, well, as you can see now, not always, but very oftentimes electric riders there that meet up, do some group rides because of the location, which is really close to the Bulwary. You can also go downstairs, and Bulwary Wiślane, which is just an area closed off just for pedestrians, bicycles, and all of these rideables. Now we're carving a little on the MSP. There's pretty much no pedal dipping. I love that about that wheel, but there is pedal dipping if you go over bumps in quick succession. I'm also enjoying this wheel just so much. I'm waiting still for a mono customized fiberglass cover for the wheel, and I just want to jump it. I just want to do crazy stuff with it, and I just keep trying to force myself not to do it because it's just so much fun. I don't want to destroy it. If you ever had a crash on a MSP or RS, you know how easy it is to just damage the shell, especially like in the front area, even without the bumper like I'm riding right now. And still I'm jumping, I'm trying stuff that is like sort of in my comfort zone, sometimes out of my comfort zone, like the jump earlier, but yeah, I'm just really enjoying the most out of this wheel. Now I'm also riding with the Sherman. I take the Sherman out if I go for a longer ride. Yesterday I went for a 75-kilometer ride outside of the city, and I had another Sherman motor in with the L hangers in my backpack. So I had a 15-kilogram backpack and another backpack in the front for other stuff like camera gear, and we were just opening the Sherman motor up because I gave the Sherman motor to a special service sort of, and they will rewire the motor. So maybe somewhere in the future you will see a Sherman high torque if everything goes well. But other than that, we are reaching really the end of the video. I hope that you enjoyed this style of video. If not, then well, not. Oh, here maybe one last thing. I'm just in a awkward position on purpose to check how the wobbles are on the wheel. You can do it yourself as well, just to train how to get better with the wobbles, which is pretty apparent on a MSP or RS wheel. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. If you're still here, leave a like on the video, subscribe to see more content like this. We are reaching 35,000 subs, which is awesome, and I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.